What is going on, guys? We are back playing some more Surviving with Immersive Engineering. Today, guys, we are finally going to be setting up the excavator. That has been a long time in the making. If you guys have been watching the series, you will know that for about the last 3 episodes, we have been getting things set up to put us in a good position to make and utilize the excavator to essentially its full potential. So if you have not been keeping up, you're jumping in right now, or you missed a couple episodes, I'll give you guys a brief overview of what we did and things that you might want to do if you want to get things situated too. So the first thing that we did, it took 2 episodes, was set up the diesel generator. And the first time we made everything, ooh, we got a little friend down here. What are you doing down here? Let's get this bad boy taken care of. It looks like he's a little stuck. But yeah, so since we were a little interrupted, we got everything set up to make the squeezer and the fermenter, and then make biodiesel and put that into the diesel generator. That took 2 episodes, and that is what's going to get us all the power that we need to run the excavator. Where are all these guys coming from? Okay, you know what? We got to go patch up the hole, or in the wall to where we're going to be building today, or we got to go sleep. We got to do one of the two so I can get through this intro without getting attacked by more things. But like I was saying, it's going to give us all the power that we need to run the excavator at its full potential, which is 4,096 flux per tick, which is exactly what the diesel generator will produce. Now, the next thing that we did, and this was last episode, is we set up sort of improved steel production. I wouldn't say it's fully automated, but it's one of the closest that we're going to be able to get to that. And that's using the advanced coke oven and the improved blast furnace. And it allows us to just drop iron and coal into this chest, and it will pop out as steel over here, which is phenomenal because, as I've mentioned in the past, the excavator takes a little bit, it takes around 3 stacks of steel to make. On top of all the other resources, the iron, the copper, things like that you're going to need, steel is going to be the main investment. So now we have everything. We got the power, we got the resources, and we have the exact area that we're going to set things up in today, which essentially is the trifecta. We are good to go, and it feels so unbelievably good to be able to say that since it's been a long time in the making. Now, something we're going to do today is take this stupid blueprint out, and we're going to be putting it back in, but I want to avoid these chests bugging out, which you guys informed me was because of the blueprint causing a visual bug, and so we're going to take it out for now, but we're going to be doing a bunch of crafting on camera, and I apologize to those of you that don't like it, but I'm going to tell you for today to either skip ahead, probably like 5 or 7 minutes, or suck it up, because I spent so much time getting all these resources together, and I wanted you guys to be able to see them in a very real sense. And what I mean is that if you look at a couple blocks that we're going to use, maybe the 50 to set up the excavator, it's like, oh, okay, that's expensive. But when you see it in actual ingot form, or whatever you may be putting in its raw form, I feel like it's a lot more tangible. It's easier to understand how much it is. So that's why we're going to be pulling everything and doing some extended crafting today. Like I said, I apologize to those of you that dislike this. Please don't hate me, but you can skip ahead. So first things first, we need to check out the steel that we have. And right here, we are working with about 4 1/4 stacks of steel. So we're going to grab all of this out. I'm very proud of this. We also have a little bit of a backlog of coal coke, and this over here has stopped running because the creosote is full. So I do have to deal with that, but we've got a lot of that, and then in here you can see we have even more steel, an extreme surplus of redstone. I did a fair bit of mining today. A lot of the coal and iron went into producing the steel, but we got some more diamonds, stuff like that. Nothing too crazy, but you can see my pick is almost broken, so we're gonna have to repair that soon. But like I said, we're pretty good to go now. So we're gonna grab out all this steel. We're gonna need some copper for today, redstone, grab out some iron. I'm trying to think of what else we're probably going to need, but regardless, we'll start with producing all of the steel stuff because that is the main portion. So for this whole thing, I'm going to go through the blocks all together, but technically the excavator is set up as 2 different parts. And so if you look in the engineer's manual, it's under heavy machinery, the bottom one, and the first part is going to be the excavator itself, the base part of it. And if we stop, you can see that this is just the machine part. So it's constructing it, and it's going to take a fair bit of steel stuff. If I can hover over this, it's got a lot of steel sheet metal, steel scaffolding, some light engineering blocks, and heavy engineering blocks. Other, miscellaneous things, but those are the main portions of it. Now, the second part, which will eventually be hooked up to it, but it considers it a different part, is going to be the actual wheel for it, which requires a ton of steel, considering it takes 9 full blocks and then 20 steel scaffolding. So everything together, we can see all the stuff here, tons of steel scaffolding, sheet metal, and blocks. That is where all 3 stacks are going to go. We use a little bit for the heavy engineering blocks, but really it's going into those first 3 things. So we're going to craft all that today, but we're going to do all of it at once. We're not going to separate it into the 2. Just know that when we are constructing it, we do have to assemble it as 2 separate things. So first things first, we need 26 steel scaffolding. Now in here, I don't know if we have any. I think we might have used all of it, unfortunately, but that's okay. We've got plenty of steel to work with. So we'll go down here and we're just gonna have to make some steel scaffolding, which is gonna require some steel rods. So if we need 26 of that, we're going to need a fair bit of these. How much does each one make? 6, okay. So we'll make a surplus of these because we use them anyway. I don't actually know if that's a surplus. There we go. Okay, so 26 steel scaffolding. We got 12, 24, 26. So there we go. We have plenty of that, but like I said, we use that all the time in the base, right here on the ground, so not too worried about going over. We also have additional steel because of this. The next thing is going to be steel sheet metal. We need 15 of this, which requires steel plates. So we can hop in here, and I didn't actually think, I keep forgetting to look at how much it actually makes. So it's 1-to-1 ratio, so if we need 15, then we can pull out 15 and put it up in here. And there we go. Now I got great advice. Is this not set properly? Why is that not running? That is set properly, right? It's not. Oh my gosh. Okay, 1 second. I was gonna say I got great advice where the person told me, and I believe that this is true, is that you can just put this up there. Do we have the incorrect mold on here? No, so it's a plate mold. Does it have power? Yeah, it's got power. Okay, so maybe the person was wrong. What if we throw this on there? Can we do that? Oh my gosh. Okay, I swear this worked before, but you used to be able to. Maybe I'm just doing it wrong. But putting the hopper directly on top of this was able to put it on there. But now it is not working. So what if we do it like this? Okay, now it works. So it works from the side, but not from the top. Okay, well, I don't want it there because that's kind of in the way. Can we do it over here? No. Oh my gosh. So we can only put it in from this side. That is so weird that it wasn't working from the top. Maybe I just did something wrong, but I swear that was working recently. The only annoying part is this was going to be my walkway to get out to where we're going to be setting this up today. So we will have to break this again because I need to get out there. But for now, I guess it's okay. But how much do we have in here? We're going to need maybe like 4 more? That's probably overkill by 1 or 2. But, oh wait, we actually would need to make, because we need to make it in groups of 4. So we'll need to make 16 anyway. So is that going to be 16? It is. Oh my gosh, guys. I am so good at this game. Even when I mess up, I'm actually just getting better. I don't get older. I just get better. Okay, so we're going to make the sheet metal. Please do not unsubscribe for me saying that. I guess we've never made this before. Interesting. Maybe that's why we haven't burned through so much steel. But yeah, so the next thing, again, another thing of steel, is going to be steel blocks. And we are going to need 9 of these. I can confidently say I have never made these before because I don't hate myself. And pulling out 9 of those is extremely painful to do. But I think for the most part, that comprises all the steel components. The next thing that we are going to have to make, and I have it open on a web page, but it might actually just be easier to look in here, is going to be, we'll make the heavy engineering blocks. And I know that you guys will be very happy to see me do what I'm about to do. And that's going to be for the heavy engineering blocks. We need pistons, steel, but we need steel mechanical components, and then we need some electrum. So the first thing we'll go through is making the electrum, and that's because we do have to do a little bit. We need gold and silver, so we'll produce a fair bit of that. I should have made this before, but we'll just grab out 24 and Was that gold and silver, I think? So we'll get this much of it, whatever. And we'll throw it back in the crusher, and we will let that run so we can make the electrum and then cook it down. And now we will go for the pistons, but I can confidently say that we are going to need to get a little bit more wood. I really need to go and just chop down like a forest one day, because we are always low on wood whenever we're crafting stuff. That is the one thing that I don't have. It's astounding to me that I have less wood than I have steel right now. And we also need to grab out some of this surplus redstone, which is a huge pain, and we need cobblestone. Oh my gosh. It's a rough day for me today, boys. So if we need 5 of these, that means we're going to have to make 6 anyway. So we'll make 6 of these, and everything else we kind of have to wait on. The steel mechanical components we're not going to be making there. We are going to be making at the workbench over here with the blueprint, because it requires 2 less plates. And we're going to do the same thing with the iron mechanical component. And you guys have been screaming at me in the comments to do that for the last couple episodes. And so we're finally going to do it. And so I guess we're going to also need 6 of those, which means we should be able to do it with, what would that be, 12 of these, I think? If I can do math. I just worked the whole day, guys, so excuse me if I'm having trouble. And I guess something just popped up in the background to notify me of something. But yeah, we're going to need, I think, 12 of these. And we can go and hopefully make some electrum, which we can start cooking down. And since it doubles, we will have more than enough for any future endeavor, thankfully. But you know what, it can't hurt to have, because we're starting to get into more advanced machinery, which means that we are going to be using a lot more heavy engineering blocks rather than light. So not too big of a concern for me, especially considering after I did all that mining, we do have a slight surplus of resources. So we need to make the steel mechanical components, and we're going to need 2 for every 2. So yes, we are going to need 6. I did the correct math. Work has not slowed my brain down too much, even though it is a Friday. Which usually would be a good thing, but it means that my brain has been going all week, and so I am pretty much ready to mentally check out. So we should be able to craft up these bad boys. 6 heavy engineering blocks. We only need 5, but we have an extra one now, so it'll be a little bit less painful next time we have to make it. Next thing is going to be the light engineering blocks, and that one we're going to make in essentially the same way. We're going to need, I want to say 9 of these, correct? If we look in here, we need, yes, 9 light engineering blocks, so we're going to have to make 10 because I don't think we have, oh my gosh, I didn't look for these in here. Okay, you know what? Maybe work has slowed my brain down a bit. You know, it's fine. We'll have these and then one more for the next time we need to do it. And I had steel scaffolding. Okay, please don't say anything in the comments. Please. I beg you guys. Someone's going to say it before they hear me plead with you guys to not say it. But, yeah. Okay, so we're going to need 20 of these, right? I think. So that would put us at 13, what we just put in there. Yeah, so that should be enough. We'll have all of our electrum finished cooking up over here. Also, we're back at level 30, so we should probably enchant something soon, because I know I'm going to die. It's just there's not really anything other than like a pickaxe that I would normally enchant. I enchanted my shovel because why not? But it doesn't really strike me as being the most useful thing to enchant. And I'm using the Faraday armor set, so I don't get shocked by stuff. So I don't really know. If you guys have any suggestions for that, let me know. But we'll come back over here. We will toss these bad boys in. Give me those iron mechanical components. I know you guys are so proud. It only took me, what is this, episode 9? It only took me 9 episodes to realize I was wasting twice as many plates as I needed to every time I made one of those. So I would say that that's a pretty good, amount of time to take to learn something like that. I'm not really proud of myself, but at the same time, I'm glad it didn't take longer, because that would just be horrific. So, okay, now we need a redstone engineering block, and unfortunately we used the last one in a recent episode, but that should be no issue to craft here. And we will have one for the future, and then we are going to need radiator blocks. We need 3 of them, so we're going to need to get 2 buckets of water. Thankfully, we have 2 buckets in my inventory. Okay guys, sorry about that little skip right there, but unfortunately my cats were making a fair bit of noise. A little bit of a heads up, I did get another cat, my fiance and I did, which puts us at 3. So that means technically I'm not a crazy old cat man yet, but that's going to be the stopping point. But we did adopt another very young kitten who was found abandoned at a demolition site. So, but she has way too much energy. So yeah, she was making a little bit of noise, and unfortunately, I'm not a good enough editor to edit that out, so we're just going to edit out the chunk of that where there was ear-splitting noises made because she was upset I wouldn't give her more chicken. But yeah, so we have everything crafted and good to go, and we are finally able to take this blueprint out and throw it in the chest so that these things don't look like creepy alien chests. I've also been told that I need to replace these with the Immersive Engineering crates. Which would look better, and we're eventually going to move these in here. I think probably over here in this area I was clearing out, and we will do that then, I promise. So we're going to move this now, and we're just going to throw it back down on top of there, even though it's not going to work, and come out here, because this is where we are going to be setting up the excavator. And you might be wondering why. Well, reason one is that it's kind of loud. I don't think it's as bad as the diesel generator, if I remember correctly. That thing is just horrible, but there's no way to avoid really having that in the base because there's a lot of stuff we have to deal with that. But there's another reason, and that is because you essentially have no way of controlling where you're going to put it. I mean, you do make the choice yourself, but whatever you want to get from the excavator is going to determine where it goes. And that's because every time a world with immersive engineering is made, there are going to be mineral deposits that generate based on what chunk you're in throughout the whole world. And so you have to go chunk by chunk to see if there is a mineral deposit there, and 9 times out of 10 there is not. Sometimes there could be mineral deposits, sometimes there could be fluid deposits. We're only going to go over the mineral deposit ones today and the other ones later, but once you find that it has a mineral deposit, you need to pray that it is one that will be useful to you. And unfortunately today, the closest one that I could get that would make it so that we could set this up and automate the whole thing is a nickel deposit, which gives us about 95% nickel and 5% iron, but it's going to net us almost 40,000 ore, so 5% of that's not too bad. We'll still get some iron, but it means that we can set this all up and I can teach you guys how it works. Now, to actually figure out what chunk you're going to make this in and see if you have been blessed by the Minecraft gods, you are going to need to make a core sampling drill. And so if we look at it here, it is actually a block. It is not a multi-block, and it's very easy to make. You take some steel scaffolding, some steel fences, and some light engineering blocks, and there you go. Now, the reason I set this up beforehand is because it takes about 30 seconds to sample. You need to sample a bunch of chunks, and you need to provide it with power. And so I have a capacitor here, just a medium voltage one that we're able to kind of carry around and have some power in it. But you can put it right next to the side. You can wire this too. I believe it uses about 24,000 flux total each time you run it, and we can run it right now so I can show you guys how it works. Actually, maybe you can only run it once. Either way, you'll right click on it. It will show you when you hover over it the chunk that you are collecting in. So right here you can see these orange lines showing us the chunk out here. And when you right click on it, this middle area will spin down and spin back up for about 30 seconds, and then it will pop out your core sample. And then the core sample is going to determine what information you know about it. So this is a nickel vein. There's no fluid reservoir. It is in the overworld. It gives us the coordinates of the chunk, and the expected yield is 38,400 ore, so not too bad. And the sample was taken 46 minutes ago. Now this is in-game time. If you stop playing the game, it will not count. So I think I took this about maybe like a day ago. But I've only been in the game 46 minutes since I took it, so it's a pretty recent sample. But it's very simple to get, and you just pick this thing up, move over to the next chunk, sample that one, but I wanted one close enough to the base, and the reason I have this cut out here is this is where our power is going to come from. So we're going to be setting this whole thing up in this chunk, and eventually we will have to move it. I think it goes for about 144 Minecraft days if it's running at maximum speed, and I believe it starts to get less and less as it kind of clears out the area, but I think at its highest peak it gets about an ore every 3 seconds, I want to say. That could be wrong. It could be old information because I know this has changed, but I believe that that is the standard for it. So we can actually start setting stuff up now, thankfully, because we know where we got to go. We got all the stuff ready, and it shouldn't be too bad. So what I want to do is kind of mark out the boundaries of this chunk because I want to make sure that the whole thing is set up in this chunk. So it is going to be, we don't want to go anywhere past that block. And then over here, it doesn't really matter. And back here, I think it's this right here. Yeah. So we want to stay right around here, and we want the power side to be over here ideally so that it's very easy to wire up. So we are just going to break this, and we don't have enough inventory room. Is there anything that we can chuck out here? Yep, the rotten flesh. Now we're just weighed down by a ton of expensive stuff. Okay, so let's get this open and start making it. Now, if you see the overall picture, it's going to go 2 down into the ground. And if we stop this, we can see that the power is going to be, where are the 3 connectors on this thing? Does it not show them? Or am I blind right now as to where the power goes? There are supposed to be 3 connectors for it from what I recall. Oh, they're right there. Okay, so they're actually on the side, so it might be our best bet to set it up so that it is facing like this. And that means we can push it a little bit more towards the center of the chunk. The wheel will be away from us. So I think that's a good idea. So let's skip over to this. We want to set it up like so. And we're going to go, let's stop it. Right, nope. Oh, I hate these controls so much. Okay, so here's where it matters because this is our level right above the ground. This is right where the ground is. And then this is 1 level in. And so we're going to start from there. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, technically 7 total. So if we want that to be here, then we are going to start, let's say right here. And this will be the first block. Oh my gosh, does it actually change every time? So we're going to do sheet metal, light engineering, sheet metal, and then 3 scaffolding. So we'll get all the useful blocks down here. We don't really need tools too much. Why do we only... Oh, those are heavy engineering blocks, light. What did I say? Sheet metal, scaffolding. That's what it was. So we'll do sheet metal. That was not a good start because I didn't scroll. There, and then 3 scaffolding. And so I believe right here is where we're going to start digging into the ground. I believe it's like that. And then we have the radiator in the corner, 2 more, and then the rest is going to be scaffolding. So we got the radiator in the corner, 2 more there, and then we're going to throw down a bunch of scaffolding, but we do want to start getting the wheel area set up. So we don't want to fill in this middle portion yet. We actually want to look at the lower levels and start digging down. So this one is going to be 5, and that is going to be down from the middle here. So right here, we're going to dig down 2, and then we're going to dig down 5, so 2 on each side here and here. And this will open up enough area for the wheel, and then it should ideally clear out more areas for the wheel as it goes. So we need our steel blocks here. We'll replace all of this, and we're going to do block of steel, the 2 blocks of steel there. Then we need our steel scaffolding, which is going to go 3 there. And then we should be able to fill in, I believe, the rest of this layer with just steel scaffolding. Yep, so this one does not use any blocks of steel. It is just going to be a bunch of steel scaffolding. So we have those 2 layers done, this layer completely done. The next layer is going to be 3 light engineering, 3 heavy engineering, and then we're going to have the full finished middle layer of the wheel. So we're going to do, was that light engineering there, heavy engineering on the other side, heavy engineering there, and then I don't know how thick the wheel is. So it encompasses, so it goes out 1 more. Okay, so we got to get our steel scaffolding back out. Man, the inventory needs so much more room. So in the very middle, we're going to have not sheet metal. We need a block of steel, which we don't have anymore on our hotbar. I'm so bad at this. So we need another block of steel. Then we need the 2 steel scaffolding, another block of steel over here, 2 steel scaffolding, and another block of steel over there. So that should complete the middle section of the wheel. I suspect the next layer is going to be the same as the one below it, and we're just going to be building up now. But we need to finish the rest of this. So it's going to be heavy engineering and redstone, and then light engineering and sheet metal for the rest. So light engineering, the redstone is going to go over the radiator. We're going to use the heavy engineering next to that. And then the sheet metal is going to go around the rest of it. And now I think we're closing in on the last layer of the actual machine right here. So we're going to be using sheet metal across majority of this side, except for the one light engineering block, which is going to be going up, and this should be using the remainder of the sheet metal. Unfortunately, we do need to go sleep, so we will do that because I don't want to be fighting even more guys this episode. I want to leave my armor to break, if it takes durability, on the wires and not on being attacked by stuff, because I know I run into the wires enough already and I don't want to make the armor again. Also because I want you guys to be able to see. Let's just pretend that's the main reason. Then we need to get back up here. Nope, not enough parkour skill. Oh, maybe I do have enough skill. Okay, so back to crafting or setting this whole thing up. So then we have no block there. Like I thought, we're going to do steel scaffolding across the middle. And then we have heavy, radiator, and then 3 light. So the 3 light are going to go probably right there. 2 radiator. And then I think heavy was right here. And then we definitely have the 5 steel scaffolding right here. And then I don't remember what the last block was. So it was just a sheet metal block right there. Okay, so that layer is now done, and I think we're really only left with finishing up the wheel. Did I miss a block of steel? Did we only make... Oh my gosh, did I place a block of steel down as sheet metal somewhere? Oh, tell me I didn't. Oh my gosh, thank God I caught it. Oh my gosh. That would have been horrible. You know what? I'm actually pretty proud of catching that early enough. I'm just saying. Okay, so that should be fully assembled. Now the one pain in the butt thing is that to set this up, I believe we need to break this and then engineering hammer the wheel and then engineering hammer the rest. So there we go, the wheel is now set up. And this is so weird, I don't know if you can assemble it all as one, but the last time I did it, this had to be done. And then if we put this back down, we click somewhere. Might have to look this up as to where we click. There we go. Whoa, that was loud. Diggy diggy hole. Man, that's an OG one. An OG Minecraft saying. That was very loud though. So I apologize for you guys if that was loud for you, but that actually scared me a decent amount. So I can only imagine. I think they added in like a new achievement system or something, so I don't know if that's new. But yeah, so we actually are good to start putting power to this thing. And the way it works is when you first start out, it is going to clear out a couple blocks. It's going to silk touch them. So we can grab our high voltage power stuff from our chest over here. We should have some left over and be able to pull it directly from that cable. And we can dump all of this extra stuff in here. Anything that's not a resource can go in there. And we got some steel scaffolding. And then we can dump all this stuff back down here. And we didn't actually use too many resources today. I'm actually pretty thankful for that. We got a ton of steel rods. I clearly made way too many of those. Reorganize the inventory, and then we are good to go set this bad boy up, which I'm extremely excited about. All right, so we don't really need the relays, but I'll grab them just to be safe. Did we use all the high voltage connectors, though? I believe we did. Did we use all the high voltage wire? No. Huh, so we just use all the high voltage connectors. Interesting. Well, we'll have to make some more of those. Not too bad, though. So that's going to be aluminum and terracotta. Thankfully, we have some terracotta left. Okay, guys, yet again, I am sorry about that. Apparently, the cats are not pleased that my attention cannot be fully put towards them. Maybe I'll give you guys a picture on Twitter sometime of all 3 of the cats. Let me tell you, they're very nice to have until you're trying to do something. And I'm sure most of you guys can sympathize with that, considering I know a lot of people have cats. The one who's 3 years old is very relaxed. She's sitting right next to me. The other 2, who are young, are not. So they are now out of the room, and the door is closed. So hopefully we will have no future interruptions, and I will take that as advice for future videos. But now we can start hooking this stuff up. So let's get this high voltage wire, and it should be able to run right through here. I'm going to get out of the way while we do this, though. And hopefully we can find some stuff to patch this up with. I should have grabbed that before, but it should actually be giving it power now. And I do want to actually make a lever so I can turn this off. That's a big thing for me, is I want to be able to turn this off. So we're going to grab a lever because we can in fact do that. And we need some stone. And I'll just use stone because we can. So we'll use the lever. It should be chugging through power right now. And you can see it's actually running. Now, the one thing I love about this is that you can actually see the stuff in the different buckets here. That actually, I believe, is an accurate representation of what it's bringing up. So I don't know what area it specifically dug out, because I know it traditionally will dig out an area, but oh, it looks like we got some ore there. But what we can do is patch this up first before we start, fawning all over that stuff. And we will make some stone bricks so that we can fill in the area over here as best we can. I don't think we can fill in that block, but we can fill in most of these so that it looks a little bit better. And I know there are things that you can use to send wires through walls. So I do need to do that in the future. I just haven't really looked into it or learned much about it yet, because that is new since the last time I played. But it's spitting out the ore in the front right here. So we've gotten 3 nickel and some dirt. Not too bad, if you ask me. But what we're going to do eventually is automate this to carry it into the crusher. Something you do need to keep in mind is if this thing is running at full speed consistently, 1 crusher is not going to be enough to keep up with it. You need 2, which is one of the main reasons that I'm not looking to run this thing at full speed. I do not want 2 crushers. I really don't care enough about it. So we're going to flick this thing off. This does not have an internal UI, and I don't actually know if you can see its internal power storage. It does not have much. So when we click it on, you can see it very readily burns through that. And so what we're going to have to do is eventually switch the hookups for the diesel generator so that the diesel generator power is going out just to that, and the rest of this stuff is not sucking power from it, because I did upgrade these to medium voltage, and now you can see it's actually burning through stuff at a pretty quick rate, and we are, high on plant oil, but we are actually not making enough. Oh gosh, what does this produce? It's the plant oil and ethanol. That's what it is. So we need to make more ethanol, which means that I might transition some of these, since it looks like we're making way more hemp. Might transition one of these so that we have a 4-to-2 rather than 3-to-3. Just some things to think about, but I know it's not really related to what we were going to go over today. But this is how the excavator works. Off camera, I will probably automate this to dump into the crusher. That's why I had made this path over here, so I could get a sense of where we were going to dig into the wall. But that is going to be it for today, guys. I do apologize heavily for the interruptions from the cats. If you guys would like to, I would be happy to post photos of all of them for you on Twitter so that you guys can at least get the enjoyable side of cats, where you get to see how cute they are, since you're also getting the negative side of everything, that you're watching right now being interrupted by them. But yeah, guys, I do apologize though slightly. I was trying to make sure that we got at least 1 video, if not 2, out every week, but it was a very busy week. With getting the new cat, we got her about 5 days ago. So yeah, that made it a little bit difficult. It took a long time for her to settle down, and all these interruptions are while she's been, quote, settled down now. So yeah, but I won't ramble too much longer. Thank you guys for watching the video. I know this is sort of complex stuff, so if you have any questions in the comment, or feel free to post those in the comments, and I will do my best to answer them. And yeah, I hope you guys have an awesome weekend if you're watching this right away. And if not, I hope you just have an awesome day. But thanks for watching, guys.
Standing in a glass bowl at the end of a black hole, cold, lost and upside down.